All right, there's a few news stories that I thought were interesting. Microsoft recently announced that I think Microsoft's Copilot tool, they will indemnify you. So if you are sued for copyright infringement for using their AI tool, they will pay for it. Because this is necessary because studies show that people considering using artificial intelligence, this is their number 3 top concern, is that the AI tools were trained on confidential data without permission, and you might get sued for using them. So the companies promising to, just trying to figure out what's going on with this, okay, it's the thing not quite reaching far enough there. Not much I can do about it right now. Anyway, so OpenAI has been pressured by the competition into doing the same thing. So that's interesting. That means the developers of these AI tools are taking on the legal risk, and we'll see what comes of that. Because there are lawsuits pending from creators suing the artificial intelligence companies for having used their product to train their tools. NFTs are still around. The price fell incredibly far. Many of them fell to zero, but Bored Apes are the most valuable ones, and they still continue to be valuable. And they had a meeting, and they had an event, and apparently they used ultraviolet light on stage, and the ultraviolet light was so intense that after this, people had sunburn all over their bodies and went blind from the ultraviolet exposure to their eyes, which I think is very serious. I'm not sure there's any treatment for that, so I think there may be huge lawsuits coming out of this. So that's pretty outrageous. Welder's eye, they call it. So I'm glad I wasn't at that one. It wasn't. It was in Hong Kong, but boy, I would think there'll be a lot of disaster coming out of that. This is something I think that theater people have known for a long time about lighting, and I think a whole lot of people can be sued for liability over that, although I don't know exactly how Hong Kong law works. So you probably know this, students in college, professors would like to know if they're using AI to make their papers. And people writing scientific papers would like to know if the papers they're judging were written by AI, but the existing tools to detect AI are extremely ineffective. And there's a new study where they developed a specialized ChatGPT detector just to detect AI-written chemistry papers. And they said by focusing on just one type of paper and by trying to analyze it by watching variations in style, like sentence length and such, they were able to get that up to an enormously high amount, like 100% under some conditions, 98% under other conditions. So that suggests that they may be able to make some limited form of really high-grade detectors for artificial intelligence generated content, which is extremely urgent right now. The Biden administration has been having meetings to plan security of machine learning and AI. And this is one of their top concerns, is that there will be a lot of fake material out there passing for real that was generated by AI, having disinformation about things like vaccines and false statements having to do with politics and so on. And having some efficient way to tell the fake stuff from the real stuff is very important, if it can be done at all. I was very interested to read about this. I listen a lot to Scott Galloway, and he's really big on TikTok is going to end the world. TikTok is being used to poison the minds of our young. And I don't know if he's right about that or not. But one thing they say is that TikTok in China is not allowed to be anything like TikTok in America, because the Chinese government watches out for their kids, and they won't let their kids waste a lot of time on video games, and they won't let them be exposed to all these empty-headed dance videos on TikTok. It's all educational stuff there like PBS and so on. And I wondered what to think of that, but this seems to blow this away. Apparently, in China, I know the youth unemployment is extremely high, but live streaming is a huge industry in China, they say. People make a lot of money on it, and something like, there was a number here, like half of all the young people, there are 1.23 million live streamers, and there are 700 million internet users that follow their channels. People are just going through their day, and they make a significant amount of money. And it is so A recent survey of 10,000 young people found that more than 60% would be interested in working as influencers or live streamers. And by the way, I've heard the same thing from people in America saying that if you ask teenagers these days, many of them want to become influencers as a job, which I doubt that there's really enough jobs for any significant number of them to be there, but I'd have no idea. Anyway, but apparently it's also true in China. It's a big thing, and so people want to stream large amounts of time to make more money. So what they're doing is making AI clones of themselves to stream, and they got caught because one guy, Chen Yuro, is a Taiwanese influencer, live streamed footage of himself eating chicken feet for 15 hours straight. And then somebody noticed a note that this was not real, it was AI generated. And they all felt betrayed, and so on they went. And now they're trying to actually considering punishing him for fooling people by them thinking the AI of him was real. But a lot of them are doing that, making AIs, so they can live stream more and make more money. So that is interesting, and it does seem to me like that is not significantly different from a cultural corruption point of view than the way we have TikTok here. Hi, Ozzy DJ. Well, I think I'm recovering fine. I just took another COVID test, and it's almost completely clear. So I think I'll be able to make the competition that starts on Friday. Yeah, I didn't take the Pfizer. I've had the vaccine shots, although not the latest one. But this is a rebound case, so there's no treatments recommended for that, from what I understand. Anyway, it's nice of you to ask. So, post-quantum cryptography is coming, and we'll talk about it more in this cryptography class later. Things like RSA are on the way out, because quantum computers, if they ever get about 1 million times better than they are, will destroy them. And so they recommend here, this is the British National Cybersecurity Center recommending post-quantum routines, and they mention the ones. They've now decided on the ones that are recommended, and they are all named after science fiction crystals used for things like lightsabers. But here's the one. For key establishment, you use crystals Kyber, and for digital signatures, you use crystals dilithium, Sphinx Plus, and Falcon. So we'll talk more about these later, and I don't know if I'll be able to get any hands-on projects using these yet, but that certainly would be a good thing to add to this course. We all should be migrating to these post-quantum algorithms now that they have been selected. All right. Microsoft's App Store continues to be poisoned. I know this was very much true of the first Microsoft App Store, which I think might have been tied to the Microsoft phone. I know I had it years ago. Anyway, this is the third time a fake Ledger app has appeared. Ledger is a hardware wallet for cryptocurrency, and apparently somehow they trick people into downloading some app to control it, and they get a fake app, and then they steal their data. So it stole about $500,000 of more crypto that way, which is really a shame that Microsoft doesn't clean their store and remove the bad stuff. Android also has a lot of junk in the store. What is all this garbage? All right. So this one I was amazed by. Silver nanowires have memristor properties. Memristors are electrical components which have a certain resistance, and resistance changes as the integral of the total current that has gone through it over some period of time. So one component combines both processing and storage in a single component. It is doing a sum of the inputs and storing that in there. And the point is that is very much like a hardware component that simulates a whole neuron in the brain. You could make an artificial brain out of those things, and it would be like a biological brain. And as they point out here, one thing that artificial intelligence has failed to achieve is the power efficiency of the human brain. The human brain does amazing calculations with very little power. And in order to do that, moving to memristors is the way to do it. So this silver nanowires have the same property. So this is very important. This may be the hardware to take the next leap forward in artificial intelligence, making a real brain that is more or less sized like an organic brain and acts like more like an organic brain, as opposed to the current simulations of them. Anyway, I'll stop this.